Firefly is going to be a strong DPS, no doubts about that. What you need to think about though, will Firefly add meaningful value to your account? DPS units are easily power crept in Honkai Star Rail, and you might not have a lot of tickets saved up, so you have to plan your gacha pulls accordingly. Just stating the facts, in the current Memory of Chaos, which is 100% made to make Firefly look good, you can still clear it with non-meta teams. In this video, I assume that you are more or less familiar with Firefly's kit, and you are just looking for a second opinion. So without further ado, let's quickly talk about the points that need to be considered. Firefly is a premium fire element DPS who scales with break effect. Her best in slot relics are coming in 2.3, and her eidolons have very high value. Being the latest premium fire element DPS, Firefly benefits from a lot of new mechanics, most of which are very powerful. She has self heals after going into enhanced state, she has built-in fire weakness application, and she has a free debuff dispel when reaching full energy. So before going into her enhanced state, her skill will consume her own max HP to build up energy. Technically, this is the only timing where she is vulnerable to death, because during her ultimate, she heals HP every time she acts. If you don't have a premium sustain or healer such as Locha, Fushuan, Huohuo, or Venturine, she will still do well in endgame content such as Memory of Chaos. Using her skill during her ultimate will apply fire weakness to the main target. This eliminates the need for Silver Wolf in the team when playing against enemies who are not weak to fire. And that's not all, because she even gets a complete debuff dispel when she reaches full energy. This seriously lifts the burden from your debuff healers such as Lynx or Natasha. Firefly is a very self-sufficient hyper carry that functions really well without help from the team, but there are more things that you need to think about. She is a fire DPS unit, so if you already have Topaz, you might want to think twice before pulling her. In terms of breaking the toughness bar, Topaz also breaks it very quickly because Nambi's actions can be advanced forward and Nambi will keep attacking even if Topaz is CC'd. Having said that, Firefly does power creep Topaz quite a bit in the damage department, especially in multi-target situations. What about Himeko? You can actually run them together because Firefly will break the enemy's toughness bar really quickly, so Himeko's Pizza Cutter follow-up attack can trigger more times. Because she scales with break effect, this means that you don't need to care about finding crit rate and crit damage substats for your relics. Her break effect can also be improved through building her attack stat, so you mainly want break effect, speed, and attack percentage on your relics. Ideally, you want to have 360% break effect on her, but I will not go into detail because other videos have explained it better. The best thing about this scaling is that you can use the Harmony Trailblazer as your main support. Every account has free access to E6 Harmony Trailblazer, and that simply means you need one less character to pull from the gacha. There are videos showcasing her best team with Ruan Mei and Gallagher, so you might need to consider pulling and building those two to make an optimal Firefly team. Also, there are more points to note regarding her break effect scaling. 1. Her LC options are very limited, and 2. Finding break effect relics is not that easy. Her personal LC is of course going to be her best in slot option because it simply increases her break effect. But if you're not planning to pull for her personal LC, then you will only have two viable options: Aeon, which is obtainable from the Herta shop, or the Indelible Promise, which is obtainable through the gacha. Aeon is easier to obtain because you just need to grind the simulated universe, but the other one is a 4-star premium light cone. So Aeon provides attack, which is not break effect, and Promise gives you break effect, but it's a 4-star gacha only light cone, which means that the stats are lower and you might not have it. So will she function well without her personal LC? Oh, definitely. But it fits her core mechanics so well that it will make you feel bad for not getting it. While it is true that she does not need crit substats on her relics, as a DPS, she still kind of want attack percentage and speed. Now you might think that it might be easier because you can have break effect as the main stat on your rope, but that means the body part needs to be specifically attack percentage with break effect substats because she does not need crit rate or crit damage. That does not seem easy to find. This also ties in to the next big point, which is Her best in slot relics cannot be pre-farmed. We all know that her main 4-piece and 2-piece relics are both coming out in 2.3. Now, do you remember how long it took you to gear your other DPS units? It can take weeks if you don't keep refreshing your Trailblaze power. So there is no argument about her being able to use old relics with break effect substats, because you simply will be farming for her best in slot relics if you're planning to pull for her. This just means that she will not be able to function optimally right out of the box like most other DPS units. Meaning that she might not be used to clear MOC, PF, or Apocalyptic Shadow on the day she comes to your account, unless you keep refreshing your Trailblaze power and farm her relics non-stop. This also means that if you can already clear MOC or PF without Firefly, she would not really add much value to your account. It is arguable to say that maybe she will be used in the future, but as you know, DPS characters are power crept quickly in Star Rail, so maybe by then there will be better units for you. The final point to be discussed is that her Eidolons have very high value. So at E1, she has better SP economy, and at E2, she straight up gets an extra turn after fulfilling certain conditions. These two Eidolons are very powerful, and I cannot stress this enough. Better SP economy helps your entire team, and getting an extra turn without external help such as Bronya, Sparkle, or Robin is a big DPS boost. What this means is that you are encouraged to go deep into her banner to realize her full potential. This is both a good and a bad thing, but mostly a bad thing for non-whales. Do you have the resources to get her to E2S1? She will definitely be useful at E0S0, there's no doubts about that. But then again, you will always feel that she could have been better if you invested a little bit more pulls into her. So here's the summary. Firefly is a very self-sufficient hypercarry with big DPS potential that functions really well with a unit that will 100% be in your account. Having said that, Firefly's big DPS potential is locked behind Light Cone, Eidolons, and team composition. Her best in slot relics are also not pre-farmable, so she does not function really well right out of the box. In my opinion, if you can clear MOC and PF without her, then you can safely skip her. She will not magically make your account better because after pulling for her, you will still be stuck grinding the relic mines for a while. If you're afraid that you're missing out on the latest best DPS character, my account does not have Imbibitor, Lune, Jingliu, or Acheron, and I can still consistently clear endgame content just fine, so you should not feel bad about missing out on the latest DPS units. Now, personally, I'm pulling for Firefly because I like her design. I'm a simple man, I roll for what I like. Same goes for you. Remember that this video is just here to give you a second opinion. I have quite a bit of gem saved up for her, and I will definitely try to pull for her E2. As always, thank you for watching, and I will see you on the next video. Cheers!